hand. Ghostly hauntings since time began. Raw side paranormal seeks the truth, looking for some kind of real proof. Creepy floorboards and eerie dark mist. Grab your camera and document this. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s, or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the wrong side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadow hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s, or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. The icy air touches your neck. You feel like screaming, but you stay in check. All's rising up to take the magical flight. You can't believe what's happening tonight. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side.
Hello, everybody. How is everybody this evening? I hope everybody's doing well. There was a bit of a mix-up going on here, but it's all straightened out. Thank goodness. Whew. But let's welcome to see who's with us. Hey, Leanne, how are you doing, Leanne? How's it going, sweetie? Hey, Miss Carla, how's your foot? I hope it's feeling a little better today. And there's Miss Sherry and Marie and Pomp. Hello, Sir Pomp. How are you? Pinky, how's it going? And let's see who else is here. Friday House, I know, is here. I'm glad he's here tonight. And there's Miss Susan and Dragon and Wiz, the Wizard of Music. Hello, sir. How are you? If I missed anybody, just give me a shout out and say, hey, you missed me. What about me? Did I see that? Pinky? How's it going, Pinky? Okay, guys, the mic is a little high tonight because I had a bit of an accident this evening doing dishes. I broke a dish, a glass doing dishes, and kind of splashed up and hit me in my face. So I've got a Band-Aid. So we'll hide the Band-Aid, so it doesn't look so bad. So hello, Mystic Mima. How are you guys doing? I hope everybody's having a great evening. Still snowy and crappy here. There's Steph. Hello, Miss Steph. Welcome, everybody. I'm excited to have our guest tonight because you guys all know that I love EVPs. I love capturing them. I love listening to them. I have people send them to me so that I can help them out with them. And this guy is a wizard in the EVP world. And I want you guys to help me welcome him in. Todd Bates. Hello, sir.
Hey, how are you doing, Laura?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Except for a little battle wound, I'm all right.
Yeah, what happened? You got the flying dish accident?
It just it fell in the sink, and you know how it just kind of like splashes up, and yeah, nailed me right in the chin. I'm like, oh my god, blood everywhere. Great time for that.
Oh
So,
no.
so well, we'll put the mic up a little higher. Nobody will see.
Whatever works, right?
Whatever works. The show must go on.
That it must.
Hello, Cree. Welcome. Who else popped in here? Jamie, how's it going? Welcome, everybody. Um, yes, very excited. First of all, I have to say you have one of the best voices I've ever heard.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
Oh my god, I just love listening to you. So I'm gonna put the
Oh,
chat up
thank
here
you.
on the screen so everybody can see what's going on. And yeah, so and I was really excited to have you on because I love EVPs. I love capturing them. I think it's amazing how we can capture something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so I just it's just exciting to have you here because you have the knowledge. And first of all, we'd like you to tell us, Todd, who is Todd before we get
Oh,
into the profession?
oh goodness, where to start on all that? I first got into this, I was a complete skeptic. I didn't believe in any of this mess. It was, you're kidding me, ghosts and all, no way. Um, I went on a ghost tour just out of curiosity mostly, and everybody at the tour seemed to flood to this old general store where I went, just walked straight past them, and something drew me to an old barn. So I went and sat in the old barn there, climbed on top of a wood pile, had my cassette recorder, and gave it a shot. Started asking questions right there in the middle of nowhere. And I didn't hear anything at all at that time until I got home and processed it. And a buddy of mine, Jason Snyder, helped me go through the recording. And lo and behold, it had captured a horse, a residual horse sound.
Oh, wow.
So I've spent decades now trying to figure out how in the world did this sound get captured on the recorder, but I didn't hear it. And that's baffled me to this day. So with that, I scoured the internet back then, and there's just wasn't much information back then. There wasn't any social media, anything to really latch onto. So I found Miss Sarah Estep. She emailed back, and we had talked extensively for years on communication, how to, what questions to ask, what type, when to ask those types of questions, and different things. And she kind of took me under her wing, and I would send her some of my recordings, and she would look them over and analyze them and things. And she didn't use software to analyze to where I do.
Right.
Um, Sarah was very simplistic. She used a reel-to-reel recorder, a cassette recorder, television sets, whatever you can use to communicate. Because in this world, you have two different ones. You have EVP, or electronic voice phenomenon, and then you have ITC, or instrumental transcommunication. Your EVP is a delayed conversation. So what that means is if you use a cassette recorder or maybe a digital recorder, uh, you may capture a response, but it's going to be a while until after playback until you hear it. As to where ITC, you have your ghost boxes and different gadgets like that. You get more real time, but I find a lot of false positives using that. I find EVP to be a little bit more credible. It's easier to understand for me anyway,
Mhm.
and it takes a trained person really to identify what they are. You can't just you can. It's simple enough to where anybody can record, but it's best to do it with some kind of method, some kind of control in there. That way, you have less cleanup after, you have less false positives after. The little things, during a session that a lot of people take for granted. Natural sounds. It's extremely important to note natural sounds and things of that nature to keep these false positives out of your recording, because that's what is being released a lot. I get a lot of EVPs submitted to me and things, and I hear a lot of background noise that
Mhm.
wasn't noted. And we all do it.
Right.
You're out there in the field, you're excited, you want to be there, you want to do your thing. You're not really thinking about a baseline recording. You're not thinking about noting natural noises. You're not thinking about using multiple recorders, perhaps, different methods and things. These are the things we have to keep in mind when we're out there. And we have to keep a focus of why we're still doing this. We're not doing this for followers. We're not doing this to get the most famous EVP in the world. We're doing this to figure out what's going on after we die.
Right.
And if we lose sight of that, we have to reconnect with that. That's why we're here. That's exactly why we're here. There's many things to be captured out there. You can capture them any time of the day. I find more activity during the day than I ever would at night.
Myself too. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's if you think about it, Laura, I mean, there's more going on during the day.
Sure.
At night, everybody's asleep. Sure, it's quieter. You have a nice quiet backdrop, but there's not as much activity. They're just, if you go, a cemetery, for example, has a dusk to dawn rule. But if you go there during the day, you can investigate that cemetery. And I know it's a place of rest, it's a place of peace, but it's also a place of communication. There's a lot that want to talk in there.
Yes.
And
Most of my work is cemetery work, and that's where I've caught a lot of
Mhm.
EVPs. Yep.
there'll be so much. There's so many in there, so many different personalities, of course. You want to be careful, but you never know what you're going to come across in a cemetery or
Exactly.
even an old haunted building. If it's haunted, just because it looks spooky doesn't mean it's haunted.
Right. Right.
It can look brand new, and this house could have plates flying across it. You don't know. You
Right.
don't know until you do the legwork and you go in there and
Right.
do that legwork.
Now, do you find when you're going on an investigation, do you mostly focus on EVP work?
Yes, there's so many things in this field that you can specialize in, per se: photography, videography, audio. I chose audio because there's so much that I wanted to funnel everything I had into one aspect of this to find that answer for me. Because it's not my job or our job to prove this to anybody but ourselves. We're not gonna, "Oh, this is my AVP. It's a ghost. I can prove it." It's gonna be tough.
Right.
There's Friday.
Yeah, he's got He's got
Yeah.
good questions. So does Cree. So be prepared.
Oh yeah. And yes, yeah, radio frequency, like he's mentioning there, it's a big problem in the field. And of course, you can't do this with ITC, but you can use Faraday cages over Faraday cage is something made out of brass, basically a brass mesh that cancels out the RF frequencies. So what that does, that eliminates false positives, another chance for false positives within. So if you have little tools such as that, other things, ground loop eliminators, I use those whenever I connect analog to digitalize it. There's all kinds of little gadgets you can get, but you really, if you use common sense, you can put the recorder up to your ear. That's perfectly fine after a session, just to put it up to your ear and listen.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to throw it onto a program and analyze the thing right away. While you're there, after your 5-6 minute session, listen to it. Go back and listen to it. See if you have any response. If you do, go acknowledge it. Return, acknowledge. You don't want to just leave it as is. You always want to take that second chance and listen to it. You may have noticed, okay, no, that was me. I said that and I didn't note it. You could clean it up right away and save a lot of time. That's where it's important.
Right. Yeah. When I do that, yes, I go in, I'll sit in the truck and I go over it, listen, document what I think I'm hearing, and then yes, go back and do another session. Try to get several in. In your opinion, because you hear a lot of people out there, they say you shouldn't hold the recorder in your hand. What are your feelings about that? Is it safe to hold the recorder in your hand, or should we place it down somewhere?
That's a great question, and I do not. I put it on a stationary object at all times because that eliminates that variable. I know sometimes there's not many places to set the recorder on. Set it on the floor. Just set it down. Set it on something stationary, because if you're holding it and you so much as move ever so slightly,
Right.
that microphone, it's going to make that noise, and then you're not going to know that was your hand. And you're listening to it later and you hear a what was that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I just try to put it on a stationary object. It depending on what session, what method you're doing, you have 3 different ones. You have a question and answer, session where obviously you ask questions and you get delayed responses. Those last about 5 minutes or so. Then you have your standard traditional stationary session where you just set the recorder down, let it record for about 10 minutes. You leave the area, come get it later. And that's where I found most of my results were during stationary sessions.
That's
And then
fantastic.
you have the walking method. Now, this isn't walking with the recorder by any stretch of the imagination. You want to walk to a location. Perhaps you're doing a cemetery, for example. You walk to another site. Yes, a tripod. Tripods work wonderful out there in the field. If you want to bring in the tripod, put it on a tripod. That's extremely stable. Slap it on the floor if you don't have anything. Put it somewhere stationary. But you can go to, let's say, another gravestone and kind of mix the question and answer session with the walking method. You go there, ask a few questions at that site, pick it up, carry it, take it to another location, maybe set it down for 5 minutes and do a stationary. See how much you can coverage. You can cover so much more with that method if it's done correctly. By all means, do not walk with that recorder. The whole recording will be garbage. It'll have to be tossed out because there's just too much background noise with that.
Right.
Too
Right.
much room for error.
Exactly. Welcome in, Fawn, Janice, Ace. Thanks for coming in, guys. Here's a question from Mystic. What are your feelings on the DR60?
Hey, boy,
Ooh.
everybody asked me that.
Loaded question.
The RRDR60 is a beast of its own. It is one that does work. It is effective, but you do have to train your ear to it. It has a very distinct sound. It records at a sample rate that is far beyond anything we have now. So it's at a lower rate, and they're choppy. They're very hard to hear. But for some reason, back in the day, they recalled those things because all these business professionals were getting voices on their record. They had no idea why. So they recall them, but they have a tendency to be little magnets. And the problem with them is people have caught on to this and held them hostage for up to $6,000. It's
Oh,
insane
yes.
to get a hold of one of these. And they shouldn't be that high. I at one time I had two of the things, and I sold them to Jason Snyder. He wanted them. I personally, I use them. They're different. It's not something I would use all the time. It's something I would use experimentation wise, trying someplace different, someplace that I trust, that I've been there before to use that. That's not something I would bring out during any client investigation, anything. I'd want to use something that's more reliable. That's more experimental, if you
Right.
would.
But you have no problems with people doing the experiment, right?
No,
That's
my goodness,
great.
no. Any way we can communicate, there's so many ways. There's not just EVP and ITC. There's so many ways spiritually. That plays a big part in this field is spirituality. Your intentions going into these sessions. You have to keep your mind level, keep your mind at a space that allows for communication. You can't go in there in a bad mood, kicking the can, and expect to get something in return. It's not going to happen. You want to go in there with the proper mindset that you're there to communicate. You're not there to harm. You're not there to send away. You're only there to communicate. And your results do increase. You bring that energy to that space,
Right.
and it bleeds out.
Right.
It fills that space. And I think it helps them communicate with us much better than just going out there willy-nilly and just firing off a recorder.
Right.
gotta prepare.
Now, how do you go about it? Because a lot of people like to antagonize and do stuff like that. Or are you more just polite and
Very.
just having a general conversation?
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that provoke. And I don't agree with it. I don't condone it. Provoking in this field, you're going to get hurt. Give it time, and something's going to happen. Keep it up, You keep doing that, eventually they're going to bite, and they do. They bite. I've seen gentlemen flipped up in the air in a cemetery because
Oh,
he was
wow.
back there
Yeah.
provoking. So you never know what's going to happen. You can't underestimate the power of one of these spirits. We don't know. We
Right.
don't know how powerful they truly are. But what I simply do is talk to them like you would any other human being or any other race. If you're talking to different races as well, you can do that. Just speak clearly, plainly, ask your question. Don't make them difficult. Uh, don't don't make them too difficult for the spirit to answer. Keep in mind that it's going to take a lot of energy for them to build, for them to communicate, for them to imprint, however magnetically with static energy. We don't know
Right.
how they imprint, but it's going to take them a minute. So when you ask these questions, don't sit there. What's your name? Where are you from? How'd you die? Did it hurt? Can you leave?
Right.
You don't want to drill them in a corner.
Right.
Just leave about 30-40 seconds in between the question. Give them time to build a response.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Cree wants to know, what do you say to those that say you aren't hearing anything but audio pareidolia? Your brain making it up to make sense of what you're hearing.
Oh, sure. That's a great question. Pareidolia is huge. If you don't take breaks, if you bring your session and you're listening to it the entire thing over and over and over again, you will hear things. You will. Your brain can only process one sound at a time. Pareidolia is so huge in this field, and it will consume you if you let it. But if you take breaks, if you listen to your session, take breaks about every 5 minutes, get away from it, walk away, come back, listen to it again, see if it still says that, see if it's still there for that matter, because the pareidolia will kick in. A good example for that I like to use is white noise. A lot of people use it as a background noise, a background tool. It's perfect. It's beautiful. It works great. It works well. Spirits seem to enjoy it. But the white noise, whenever we hear it, it just shh, that's all we hear. That's
Exactly.
because our brain can only process one of those millions of frequencies within that noise. And that's why we hear that constant hush. So if our brain was able to separate that, pareidolia would be out the window. But unfortunately, it's there.
Right.
And it's something you have to watch for as much as listen for during your session. You can see an EVP just as easily as you can hear it if you're educated enough to look at it. You can see that, for example, if you ask a question prior, if you look at the vocal patterns of your question, you're going to see them looking fossil like on the spectral view in Audition or Audacity. You'll see like fossils where the vibration of your voice comes out. Now, with a spirit vocal print, it's more of a white blotch. It doesn't have any vocals within, it's just there. The program sees it as sound, tries to categorize it the best it can, but you can tell it looks completely different than your vocal print. So you can see these captures just as easily as you can hear them if you train your eye as well as your ear. And that just comes down to me sitting there listening for hours and hours on end to these sessions. That's what I started developing. Was okay, I need to find a way to get my ears off of this and get my eyes on it. And
Right.
that's what I found. The pattern I found with the spirit vocal prints in there, how they sound. You can hear the vocals come out quite clear, but you can't see the print. So that's how I tell the difference between that to avoid pareidolia.
Okay. Mystic says, but does spirituality create its own bias?
Of course it can. Yes, of course it can. And that comes with intention again. Um, you want your investigation to be unbiased as can be, but unfortunately, that's going to get thrown into the works quite a bit, and a lot of bias. There's so many flaws, so many things we take with us, so many things we do, so many what ifs, so many we coulda, shoulda, wouldas. But at the end of the day, if you focus on your sessions and you keep them controlled, and you keep your intentions good, you're going to have communication. Your results are going to be far better than just going out there, running into a place, firing up a recorder, and going. Prepare yourself, educate yourself. That's why I have all kinds of free lessons. There's a Paranormal 101 to 103, an EVP 101 to 103, all free of charge on my website, evpexplorations.com. They're all free. They teach you how to go through all the steps. They're all in depth. Everything you need to know about how to go through. And on the EVP side, it even shows you how to digitalize it, how to upload it to the computer, what to look for, the patterns. All of that's in there in those courses. It's all free of charge because I feel this education should be free. This type of
Fantastic.
education should be free, available, readily available. So that website is like a library. There's that. There's articles. There's all kinds of how-tos, and that's what the show is about. I do every week. It's not to pick up and go coast to coast, for crying out loud. This is simply raw EVP discussion, or raw haunting discussion, or raw communication discussion. Any communication. We have had mediums on there. I feel that they're very important in the field. They're very important in this field. They can point us where we need to go. And like Mystic said there with the bias, you can have that bias with it. But sometimes you got to take risk in this field. You really do. And you have to try new things. The pioneers, when they founded EVP, they found a perfect way to capture a voice without any kind of high-tech equipment, anything of that nature. It's very simple to do it. The whole process is simplified. The problem is we're complicating it way too much. With all this new equipment they're coming out with,
Yeah.
Laura, it's just insane.
It is insane. Because myself, I've even had, well, I mean, I'm sure you probably will have experienced it, or maybe not, and some people in the chat, where I've actually heard something say my name in my ear
Hmm.
in my own home, and I'm by myself and I heard my name said into my ear as I'm walking through the hallway. So, I mean, I picked it up with my own ears. So, I
Yeah.
mean, using all of these fancy, bells and whistles, we really don't need them.
No, and it's unfortunate. You can pick them up with your own ears. Like that's called an ENP, or electronic noise phenomenon. Usually, when you hear it with the naked ear, you end up capturing it on the recording as well. Usually, but there's so much out there that people are being duped. They're being duped. The AI market is extremely high, so a lot of these apps that have these word banks, people are just running to these
Yeah.
apps with word
Yes.
banks because they think that is what the spirit is actually saying. It is not. It simply is not. It is what AI is portraying it to say and putting those words from its word bank in there to put that in there. So be careful. Be careful. Don't, I don't use the apps. I'm not saying they're all terrible. There may be some good ones out there. I just don't utilize the things. I stick with the old school equipment that works, that I can trust.
Right.
The new task cams that are out there, these things are so sensitive. I mean, I'm not here to pick up two fleas fighting in a corner. I'm here to pick up an actual spirit voice. And something like the new task cam, they're insane. They're too quiet. They eliminate all background noise. So who's to say that they're not going to eliminate a possible voice EVP capture come through on that recorder? They're going to see that as a flaw and correct it and just
Right.
boot it out entirely. But on an older piece of equipment, a digital recorder or analog recorder, you can't do that. What's there is there. There's no explanation for it. These new ones, you don't need them. You can go out and buy an inexpensive digital recorder for 30, 40 bucks. Use that thing. You'll have the best results of your life. You don't need to go out $300, $400, or $500 for one of these recorders. You
Right.
don't need it. You simply don't need it.
Yeah, mine's basically just a $30 digital recorder. And if it's possible, then even just a cassette recorder, if I can, if it's available to me at the time,
Yes.
which I find I pick up a better EVP on a cassette than I do on digital.
Absolutely.
It's clearer.
Yes. Yeah, they're a lot more cassette versus digital. You're going to get less, but they're going to be more profound. They're going to come through crystal clear.
Yes.
Usually a good class B or class A, even on a cassette recorder, as to where a digital, you're going to get a lot of class C's and things of that nature. You'll capture a lot more on a digital, I think, but they're not as profound. They're not
Yeah,
as
right. You're right. Totally
yeah.
right. Cree wants to know, do you think, or what do you think about how people say that doing EVPs are no better than using a Ouija board and are inviting evil into their homes?
That's a great question. And to be perfectly honest with you, an EVP session is no different than a Ouija session. A Ouija board is a communication tool for spirit activity. Some people use it for, now, it does attract your lower ends if you allow it. If your intentions allow it, it will attack or attract low end entities. However, you can use a Ouija and as a good communication tool, if you're aware of how to use it, you know how to properly open the board and close it. You must close it. You cannot just walk away from these things because you're just, especially if you're doing a client investigation, don't whip out a board during that.
Right,
I
exactly.
mean, your client's going to freak out.
Yeah.
They're gonna go-
They're
because
like,
of this.
no, I don't think so.
It's the stereotype. They're all stereotyped. Everybody thinks that's
Yeah.
how people communicate with demons is through a Ouija.
Yeah.
And it's had a bad rap because of that. It really is a good tool if used correctly. You can get decent spirits in there. They're not all low end. You just have to have your intention set correctly on what you're doing before you set up.
Exactly.
Most don't. They just whip the thing out, start talking. Next thing you know, things are flying off the wall, and they
Right,
don't know
right.
why.
Exactly. And then, then they run away and don't close the circle, and then that's it.
Exactly. They take off
And then the next thing you know, it's in the garbage. So,
or burned.
right, right. Okay, Ms. Cree says Friedrich Jorgensen, I hope I pronounced that right, is said to be the first to capture EVPs trying to record birds. One, he insisted, was even his mom. Do you think more can be caught without really trying to find anything?
Yes, that is an excellent question. Jorgensen had no intention whatsoever to record voices of the dead at all. He was a producer. He wanted to record some bird calls for his film. He goes out there, lo and behold, his mother comes across that reel-to-reel recorder saying, Frederill, my little Frederill, can you hear me? I mean, the man makes contact with his mother.
Wow.
And her voice is recognizable on there. This should tell you something right there. He had no intention on doing that, no intention on contacting his mother. It just happened. And that's how a lot of these captures, they happen just like that. When you least expect it, when you're not looking for it, when you don't want it, there it is. Every time it's going to, I've had sessions where nothing all throughout. And the very end, I get a goodbye. The very end.
Isn't that amazing?
So you have to stick with it. Listen to the entire session because they could be anywhere mixed in there, anywhere whatsoever.
Right.
Not just after a question, but just anywhere at random.
So yeah, Friday says, depends on the model. I use a Tascam GR7. No
Yeah.
filters, just simple audio.
Yeah. And, I mean, something like that Friday, would work if it has no filters and so forth. These newer ones they are terrible. They are just terrible when it comes to audio because it's so clear. You need some of that background noise. You must have it, I feel, to get to obtain a good capture. And it's not because you're hearing things. It's not pareidolia. It's because that's what's there. That's the substance it needs to imprint itself somehow. And on these newer ones, I mean, I've used them before they got really, really high tech, and I did not like these newer recorders. They just, for me, they don't carry the audio that I'm used to. I'm used to raw audio. I'm used to sounds. I'm used to flaws in the audio. And the newer ones, it comes across far too quiet. Yes. Yeah, cassette recorder, absolutely Friday. I mean, there's the cassette recorder or reel to reel recorder, if you guys have one sitting up in your attic somewhere, get the thing out and try it. I don't know how they imprint on these devices, Laura. I don't know if it's a magnetic imprint
Right.
because of the tape going across the head. I don't know if it's static discharge. I don't know what it is, but they seem to be attracted to these older pieces of equipment. Maybe because they recognize them more. I don't know.
Could be. Could
But the
be.
new things coming out with all the lights and sounds and, you know, during a session, it's good to document your session, yes, but don't have a bunch of distractions going. Don't have 6 REM pods going with the SLS camera and all this fun stuff. Don't create distractions for yourself because you're going to miss the big picture. Just keep in mind that you're there to communicate, and
Right.
anything is possible. Anything can happen at any given moment. So look at your surroundings during the session. Yes, I have used one of those myself, Laura.
Have you?
Yep.
That's a good question.
That is an excellent question.
Fidget
Mine was an
spinner.
American flag one, and it spun. They spun it. It was incredible. It was
Wow.
incredible.
Never thought of that. Actually, somebody came up with a good question the other day. What about using a magic 8-ball?
hmm
And I said, well, I never even thought of that. That might be pretty interesting.
Maybe they could manipulate it. Maybe they can get in
Maybe.
there and manipulate that 8-ball goo. Who knows? I mean, it's incredible what they can latch onto and manipulate. It really is. They can do it through televisions, electricity, EMF signals, whatever. They find a way to get in there and get our attention. You know, and it's what you do with that tidbit after that matters.
Right.
You know, do you pursue it or do you go back and research it? You kind of want to do both.
That's what I say both. Yeah. Because I got to know. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
That's you want to answer those questions.
And well, like when you bring in, the frequencies and stuff, you never thought, well, gee, maybe they are communicating at a different frequency that, we can't hear with the naked ear.
hmm
So it's important to know those as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's-
Absolutely.
Cassis,
And
how do you
there's
feel about? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, Laura.
I was just going to read a question. Go ahead.
Oh, that one there about okay. Hans Holzer, holy cow. Yes, it's impeccable. Alexandra picked up where he left off, and I wish she would pursue it harder than what she is, but there's his work is very similar to a lot of the pioneers. I would consider him one myself. There's so many in this field that have added to it, and there's so many that have taken away from it. The pioneers that you really want to research from, to learn from, someone like Hans, absolutely. Great place to start. Very simplistic work. And I think this entire field is simplistic. I think the reason they do communicate with us is something extremely simple. It's right under our nose. We just miss it because we're humans and we overcomplicate the hell out of it.
Yes, we do. We always overanalyze everything.
Exactly. So if we just accept what it is for what it is,
Right.
you'd be surprised.
Yes.
But
Exactly.
everybody wants something tangible. Everybody wants something captured in a jar. That's not going to happen. I don't feel that's going to happen anytime soon whatsoever. And people that have made the strides back in the day, the pioneers, people like Hans that have made connection with the other side, like Edison, for example, his phone to the dead. There's ways that people are taking that research from the past and recreating it with today's technology, and it's working. You have in the ITC world, you have the digital seance experience with Ron Iacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez. They filter sound through white noise. Now you're talking ITC here, but it's kind of a similar principle. They're just filtering sound through white noise, and they're getting the clear voices coming through in real time. There's no radio signals being used with it. So it's something very new. And with this field, you have to take risk like that.
Yeah.
And with today's technology, we can. And the problem is people aren't really sharing their work. They're afraid to. They're hiding it.
I wish they would, because that's one of the beefs that I have, that th- we're doing the same things over and over again and not getting any new results. We're just getting the same old thing.
Hmm.
And people are always questioning it. Why isn't it that the community or even science itself is trying to find another way, different, equipment coming up with? Because I've always said it too. The years that everybody that I know and have been involved with, and myself, we have years upon years of experience in the field.
Right.
And, we've all done the same thing during investigations, and we have documented all of our data. I would love it if people would come together with their combined data and then get in touch with people like Friday, who is a tech scientist,
Hmm.
and develop something that we could use that
We
would
need a
prove.
database,
Yeah. Yeah.
a community database.
Yep.
Now, I have offered to build one. No one wants to collaborate with it. No one wants to take it on. No one wants to do that kind of work.
Jesus.
If someone like Friday wants to come up with something like that, hands down, absolutely do it. I'd help out anywhere I could, Friday, if you wanted to do something like that.
I think it would just be awesome, because then you could develop something that might help the field along,
Yeah.
get us closer to what we're looking for.
If we had some kind of central database that we could put our data up there, these captures and so forth, for other people to look at, your peers, it would double check them. It would the credibility would go through the roof, but we're not doing that. For some
Right.
reason, we're holding all this evidence hostage.
Yes.
We're
It's like,
afraid
it's mine.
to
It's
release it. Yep,
mine.
it's mine. If I put it out there, somebody's going to put it on their YouTube.
Right. And I won't
So,
get credit. Yeah.
right. No
Yeah.
one wants to do it. And
It's-
if we had a secure place like that, we could do it.
That would be awesome.
We could just put it right up there.
Yep.
It would be that simple.
So
It really
awesome.
would.
All right, let's go. We got Cree's got another question. I hate it when people walk around with the recorders in their hands. Drives me nuts, because that can cause interference. Do people think they should have it set down when trying to do EVPs?
Yes. Yes. To answer that again, always set that
Yes.
on a stationary object. Never walk with your recorder. That is a big no-no. It's going to pick up. I mean, microphones are made to amplify. That's exactly what they do. They amplify. So they're going to take a natural sound like a bird flying across, and you're going to pick up the flap of the wings. Next thing you know, you're telling this person they have a demon in their house. No, that was just a bird.
Right.
So you want to set it down. You want to eliminate all false positives as possible.
Right. Sorry,
So
guys,
it's
I'm a
best.
bit behind. Hi, Angelina. Welcome, whoever I missed. Yeah, we're a little behind here. That's okay. To be fair, Tascam makes these for studio use. They are not intended for paranormal use, like items most we use in the field. Well, everything that they have in the fields pretty much wasn't made for,
Yeah.
for
Very
what we're
few.
using it.
Very few. Now, back in the day when Adobe Audition first came out, it was transitioning from Cool Edit to Audition. I did do some beta testing for Adobe and slipped a few things in there, a few filters in there that they did keep for EVP work. And you can slip certain things in, but this equipment, and I know there's places like Ghost Stop and all these ghost hunter stores.
Yeah.
Nothing is really made for paranormal use. It's made for scientific use around it, such as air quality, EMF meter, air ions, whatever you want to measure. They have a tool for it. So if you want to measure your environment and get a good baseline of your environment, you can do it if you want to spend the money and do that. Or you can just use common sense with your environment and gauge it. If it's thundering and lightning and you're doing a session and it thunders, note thunder. Okay,
Right.
that's thunder. You can go that route. You don't have to spend a lot of money to do this, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. You don't have to go
Exactly.
out and spend all this money on all these different
Thousands of
gauges.
dollars.
No,
Right.
you just
Well,
don't.
there's another question right there. Do you believe that EVPs can be affected by the weather, like thunder and lightning storms?
Yes.
Do you think they increase?
I do. I think, especially before and after a thunderstorm, those are prime times to do EVP work. I think the static electricity in the air is it's perfect. It's the perfect combination for communication. I don't know if those storms thin the veil. I don't know. I have no idea. But I've had increased activity before and after thunderstorms. That I've known for a fact.
Right. Yeah, totally charged up and ready to go.
Absolutely. It's like it's like a freshly charged area.
Yeah,
Take
exactly.
advantage of it. Take full advantage of it.
Cree says sometimes people have caught EVPs and people say voices were planted. But how if they ask the question during an investigation? Could they do that?
The there's some people out there that do fake EVP, and you can tell. Just like, okay, use common sense, folks. You're watching the old movies, like Smoking the Bandit, for example, and there's some cursing in there, and you hear one of the characters, instead of saying the curse word, you'll hear him, "Oh, hamburger." They throw the dub in there. Well, you can hear those dubs. When people throw these fake EVP, you can hear it. You can hear it because the background noise doesn't sound the same. It doesn't sound the same as the EVP. So use common sense. Put it into a program and physically look at it, and you'll see it's completely different. It doesn't even belong there. That's how you can tell a fake of a fake. Now, what there's maybe questioning is perhaps getting your own name. But as far as planting it, a spirit can plant that anywhere they want in that recording. So you have to be aware of what you're listening for. You have to train your ears for what you're listening for to decipher if that was an actual spirit saying something or if that was a background noise that you didn't know. Something like thunder, you didn't know that could sound very mean on a recording.
Right.
I mean, that could sound like a growl. It could sound terrible.
See, right
Anything.
there, you're saying just pay attention to
Pay
not
attention.
just the EVP, but the background noise that's going on during the session.
Yes.
So,
That is most important. Pay
Very
attention.
important. Yeah, Angelina says, like people who walk around with dowsing rods, how are we supposed to believe them? Their body is moving, therefore rods automatically move.
Okay, the rods, I love dowsing rods. Absolutely
do you?
love those tools. I think they're excellent communication tools. And do they work on the subconscious? Maybe. Does the Ouija? Maybe. Does the EVP recorder? Perhaps. We don't know if the subconscious is imprinting on there or not. But with something like dowsing rods, if you get a set, most like the sets that I've used, they have swivels to where if you can't move, if you move your hands, they don't move. They swivel right along with you. So that eliminates false positives. Dowsing rods are extremely simple tools. They're good for yes or no answers. They're good for instant direction, something of that nature. They were developed for witching water, and it works.
Yes.
They do find water somehow. It's strange, but there's some kind of connection with those rods and the individual. The individual is the host, of course, and then the spirit talks through them using those rods. I've got a full course on it over there on the site, and I find them extremely fascinating. They do work. They're genius little communication tools. If you're going into a location for the first time, you don't want to introduce a bunch of equipment right away. Go in there with some dowsing rods or a pendulum, and use something old school like that they can come through and actually use.
So yeah, amazing.
It's worth a shot. It's
I
worth
was
a
thinking
try.
about getting myself a pair because I'm very curious. I've
Yeah.
never used them.
Oh, they're fun little things.
So it's I
And
figured I'd give it
you'll
a
see
try.
you'll see how they get away from you when the spirit is really active. They do the dowsing rods will they'll turn, they'll go here, they'll go there, and you're not touching a thing. You know yourself. It's a personal thing, really, with dowsing rods. You know yourself. You're not moving those; they're moving on their own. And then people around you, if you have the ones with the swivels, they can tell that you're not moving them, either.
Right.
So they're legitimate. They're old school. They're old school tools.
Friday's laughing. I'm no scientist. No, but you have the
Close enough, buddy.
electronics. Yeah, you got the electronic knowledge that would help create something like that. You have the
Close
understanding.
enough.
Let's see. Ryan says the best stuff is in person, not on equipment. Yeah,
Yes.
Ryan goes all over. I don't know if you ever watched Sir Spookfest. Ryan is just a well of knowledge about all kinds of things. It's really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of these are personal experiences that are just waiting to be had. And some people will have an experience while others won't. So it's give and take out in this field. It really is.
Yeah. See, Friday says I have ideas, but I'm not the only one out there trying to come up with changes. They will be known soon. Ooh, so he's
Yeah.
got a secret going on there, Friday.
Secrets are good.
What the heck? Let us in.
Who knows what he's working on? Holy cow.
Just dangle that
Guy's a
carrot
genius.
there. Yes, he is. Cree, lovely Cree. Do you think they might hold things hostage because they fear being attacked for what they are doing or getting in return?
You mean as far as the spirit being held hostage?
Or I
That
think
kind
if
of
she's meeting, maybe are you thinking maybe other people sharing their new
new evidence, new
new
data.
evidence and new data? Which one do you
Yeah.
mean, Cree? We're a little behind.
Yeah. Most people are afraid that those are going to get stolen. That's why they don't share. And they have every right to feel that because unfortunately this community is at a place right now where it needs changed and it's coming. It's just going to take a moment.
Yeah.
But it's at a state right now where everybody's more worried about likes, followers, and film crews than they are the reason why we're here, which is communicating with the dead. So a lot of that evidence may be taken hostage. So be careful. Send it to people you trust, but please send it to people.
Let's see. Oh, Pam's got something here. Pam says there is such a high degree of skepticism that I can't imagine anything not repeatable and testable will be dismissed called pareidolia,
Mhm.
or will you be seeing mental health professionals?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. There are so many that because I was one of them. I would hear one of these back in the day. No,
Yeah.
that's got to be something else.
Right.
But I assure you, folks, there is something out there that is unexplainable. It has brought me closer to death than I've been more comfortable sometimes. But there's some, there's differences. Okay, there's a difference between a ghost and a spirit. A disembodied spirit, a ghost, for example, you're going to hear the same activity at the same time, maybe daily. It's history repeating itself. Perhaps the energy's held in a limestone foundation or something of that nature, and it seeps out over time, and the timing is just perfect. You're there, you capture it. I've captured several residual EVP as to where intelligent, they know that they are no longer alive. They have chosen to cross, and they choose to come back and forth. Those are going to be your intelligent responses. So you have the two. So when you have pareidolia, and you're always going to have that, always going to have that, Pam. It's always going to be in the back of your mind. You're always going to second guess yourself a lot on a lot of these files. That's why it's best to have opinions, have someone else listen to them. Don't just, this is nothing, and throw it to the side, because that could be the exact piece we're looking for.
Right.
You know,
And it does happen though, unfortunately.
it
Where you
does.
get a lot of people that will go over think, well, it's nothing, and they just get rid of it. It's
Mhm.
even though if you think it's nothing, I don't get rid of the data. You keep it.
You keep it.
Because you never know, something might spike at another moment that matches that data that you've already collected.
Absolutely.
And
Or
that's why I think it's important people write it down and not just, oh, well, I got it on video. No. I think
document.
I think you need to keep a log, and it's
You have to
important.
document. You must document. In this field, you must document everything, because we don't know what's there and what's not there. So we have to document everything that we see that's tangible, that's real, and let the other filter in, as it is. But don't think that everything is pareidolia. Don't convince yourself of that, but also try and debunk this evidence at the same time. You want to debunk it just as much as you're trying to prove it to yourself, just in case. because there's so many sounds. The slightest sound can make anything, and the brain can just misunderstand that sound and make it anything you want it to be. So just be careful. Use common sense, and you'll be just fine.
Right. Sage says, "Do you think EVPs can be affected by the person recording and asking questions?"
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can you can really have a great EVP session or a terrible one. Now, I've had some where the spirits don't want to talk to me at all. Not in the least. I mean, they want nothing to do with me, but a female investigator asks the questions. There they are. They're all over it. Maybe they're more comfortable with a female than
Yeah,
a male.
could be.
So there's so many different factors. That's a great question. There's so many different factors with that. You don't know why. You just know. So they can be affected by the way you ask the question. What's your name? If you're frustrated, no one's going to give you any information. Just be polite. What's your name? Can you tell us your name? Just be polite, and it's going to go so much farther. Don't sit there and I demand you tell us your name. Come on.
Right.
Come on. Demand.
Right.
Who are you demanding? Who are you to demand anything from anybody? Ask the question and do your job. Don't sit there and provoke and take the easy way out
Right.
to get some kind of response or to make some apparition appear that's going to kick your ass.
Yeah,
Excuse my language.
exactly.
You know,
Well, that's how I look at it. If you were a spirit and I was, somebody said that to you, I'd be like, well, who the hell are you talking to? I mean,
yeah, right. You're not going to say a word. You're just
I'm
gonna-
scared of you. Oh,
I mean, they may be afraid of their surroundings. They may be afraid of the equipment. You've got to introduce all this stuff to them.
yeah, because they don't know what this is.
They don't know what's going on.
No,
So you've
they
got to
don't.
just inform them, and you'll get more results.
Yeah. Pretty much that's what I do too. Like I say, I have this device, here it's able to pick up your voice, so that you can communicate with me. As such, I explain that when I'm doing a session.
Yes.
Because you look at the recorders today, and if you're dealing with something, I'm usually in a very old cemetery, 1700s, 1800s or older, and they don't know what that is.
No.
They have no clue. It's witchcraft as far as they're concerned. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
that's a big thing. Yeah, the witchcraft. We throw that
Yeah.
into the mix. Holy
It's-
cow!
Oh, it's black magic. Get away from there.
Yeah, it's black. Oh my!
That's what they would
goodness.
think too.
Yeah, and it is. And it's just people are quick to judge, and
Yeah.
they're afraid of the unknown mostly, so they're quick to judge, and it is what it is.
So,
It is
yeah.
what it is.
You just got to explain everything. Crease asks, do you think that there can be a time issue? Example, if you ask their name and then 3 questions later you get the name, I think time might not always sync up with your thoughts.
Yes, that is correct. See, I don't think spirits have any concept of time whatsoever. Time is a man-made thing. That's something we screwed up, and that's why we're off our chain. That's why we're off completely when it comes to understanding how this actually works, because of the concept of time. Now, if you ask a question and that spirit doesn't answer it until 3 questions in, that is extremely possible. It may have taken that long for that energy to build up, for them to find a way to imprint. So patience comes with that. And know when you're analyzing these, when you're listening back to your sessions, listen for anything. You may have something completely off the wall. It may even come to you in a reverse speech. Be careful with that stuff. That's where pareidolia lives. So be careful. But it may even come to you in something as that. So you want to take every sound you hear and you want to analyze it the best you can. You want to put it down the best you can and document it the best you can, because it may be a delayed conversation, like I said earlier, to where you're asking a question, what's your name? And you've already asked them 2 other questions, and then you get a name after that.
Right.
Put 2 and 2 together and know that spirit probably had a little trouble manifesting, and to take it down a notch, slow your roll, give them more time to respond.
Exactly. Because I find that very annoying if you're watching somebody doing an investigation and they just start spitting out stuff
Oh,
when it, and it's like, you didn't even give 5 seconds to answer the
oh,
first 10
yeah.
questions.
Oh,
It's very frustrating.
it's so frustrating to hear people do that. It's such a waste of time.
Well, I don't know what they're in a hurry. You've got the whole night there. What are you in a hurry for?
Yeah, let's just collect this and go. No, it's not like that. You're going to be there a while. Give it
Yeah,
time.
it could be in days. Who knows? It's just, I don't know. People just are always in such a rush.
Yeah, they are.
Ryan says, yeah, if dowsing rods are stuck in one place and move on their own, then I would be more excited.
Yeah. Some like them, some don't. It depends. They're great tools if you get the right set. You've got to get the right set. And sometimes they do the ones that are on swivels, they'll move on their own. Is it spirit moving them? I don't know. But they're moving.
Right. Seems
And
pretty
you
interesting.
don't recall moving them to the right, but they move to the right. Is it your balance? Did you shift weight? There's so many questions you can do that with any piece of equipment. You can second guess yourself
Sure.
it's just a matter of accepting what is for
And the
what it is.
possibility that
Yes.
what it could be. Because I did see a video not too long ago. They were showing a man, witching for water. And the automatic response was, oh, look, you see his wrist? It moved. He moved it. Well, I mean, I didn't see him move, but okay. It's to each his own, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he would know if he moved, and that's up to him. You have to trust that he didn't. And it's hard for us to do that. It's hard for us to trust.
So, especially in this field.
Yes.
Especially
Very much
'cause,
so.
and especially YouTube. We've got all of these entertaining ghost hunting channels.
Yeah.
And people take them as face value, and
It's terrible.
it ruins it for those of us who are trying to learn and educate and get the truth and put it out there. And it makes us look like we're idiots.
Yes, it does.
Because they'll say, well, why do they get all of this activity and you guys have been there for 3 days and haven't gotten anything? Because that's how it really works.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's sad.
Yeah.
It's a sad day. It's a sad day when that happens, when we can't trust one another, our own
Right.
peers.
Right.
It's terrible. We need to work on that.
There's a lot of work that needs
A
to be
lot
done.
of work.
Grace's issue is people will yell. You ask the color of your hair and got Ed. They didn't answer the question, but it was asked 3 questions before. Why isn't it interesting? The name was even said.
Well, sometimes they'll come through whether you want them to or not. And you'll get random responses. You may ask a question, no one answers that question whatsoever, and then all of a sudden you get a name. They're just trying to introduce, or you may have picked up something residual if you don't get an intelligent response. If you're asking a question, hey, what's your favorite color, and you get the name Frank Nitty, well, odds are that may be residual. That may be them trying to introduce themselves. So just try and, when you get that captured, try and change your questioning a little bit. Okay, Frank, can you tell us your favorite color?
Right. That's fantastic.
You try to mix them in there. That way, you're addressing that particular one, because there may be several trying to come through and only one is strong enough to come through, but he doesn't want to tell you his favorite color. He just wants to tell you his name. So you never know. You never know what you're going to get.
Right. Dragon says, I feel that not all intelligent responses are from someone that knows they are gone. I feel some of them are from people that have just passed suddenly and didn't know that they passed maybe. And
It's a choice.
I totally butchered that.
No. That's a great question. I feel that's a choice. If it is a spirit, an intelligent spirit, and they haven't crossed yet, they choose to stay here for maybe unfinished business. They've got something going on that they weren't able to finish before they died, and they have to stay here until that's complete. These are the type spirits you'll get. And yeah, that's possible. Of course, it's possible. You don't know if they've crossed over or not. They're not going to, yes, I crossed over last Thursday and I've come back to talk to you here on this fine Monday. No, that's not how it works. Because again, you're using time, which is man-made. So You can get any response at any given moment. You can hear anything at any time. So just be prepared for anything, whether it's residual or intelligent. Be prepared for any kind of sound
Right.
that's coming through, any kind of communication. And then base it on that and try to research it, do your digging, do your homework, and see if you can come up with what it is. If it is residual or intelligent, it's
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to tell the difference.
If Friday says, I have never assumed they didn't know what my equipment was. Most of the time, I've never even mentioned it. I just asked questions. Sorry about the
Yeah.
dog, guys.
No, no,
My
no.
big mouth dog.
That's a good question too, because I like to introduce them to the equipment. Hey, this is a recorder. This captures your voice. This is how it works. You come up, you speak into it, or maybe imprint yourself on it. And I'll describe that a little bit. And that way they're more aware of the surroundings. They know where to go. Maybe you try to help them as much as you can get the information you need. If you just click on the recorder and do a stationary without saying a word, you might get some results as well. But if you're doing a question and answer, you're looking for intelligence at that
Right.
point.
Right.
You're looking for intelligence. So you want them to know as much about that session, about that area, the equipment, as much as possible, I think.
So yeah, Friday says, according to the NDE accounts, they do not have time like we know it.
No, they don't. Yeah, the near-death experiences will tell you that there is no concept of time over there. I don't know what they use. I don't know what it is. This is something we created, and I think that's what's holding us back is our own creation of time. How do we know what 30 seconds is after a response? Because
Exactly.
our idea of 30 seconds and theirs is completely literally night and day. 30 seconds, maybe 30 years. Who knows?
Good Lord. I know.
Who knows?
See, these are all things that we don't think about because we're just
Mhm.
thinking within our own realm, not
Yeah.
outside of that box. Hey, Steph, glad you made it home in one piece.
Linear and nonlinear. That's
Yeah.
what you think,
Yeah.
in this, because you just don't know.
Pam's question is, do you think people with conditions like, oh my goodness. Go ahead. Can you know how to say
That's
that
a
one?
great question. Schizophrenia.
Thank you. Is that how schizophrenia is spelled? I didn't know
Well,
it.
with conditions like that, schizophrenia, be able to hear and sense things. Yes, I think people, schizophrenics especially, are very gifted people. I think, they say, they give them medicine because they hear voices. I used to hear voices. I used to hear voices back in the day, and I'm not schizophrenic. Sometimes you just hear it, but as somebody that's schizophrenic, I think they're more gifted. They're more open-minded than we are to this, and they're going to be a lot more sensitive to what's heard.
There's something going on there.
Yeah, and I
And
think
it's definitely the first time I've ever seen the spelling of schizophrenic.
well,
Isn't it terrible?
I think that's synesthesia. Synesthesia. But I mean, I was just I because I don't know what synesthesia is.
Probably this pretty much close to what we were just discussing.
But I was going to throw schizophrenia in there because
Thinking,
there's
geez.
yeah.
How often do you look up those words? Not very often. It's my bad.
Yeah.
Let's see. Friday says time as we know it is part of space, hence space time.
Space time, yes. And that's what we're on. Is their time. When we're doing these sessions, they're not on our time. We're on their time. We're hoping they're there, whatever their time is. I used to when I investigated this little schoolhouse, I never went there at night. Well, they're not going to be there. So why go there? But that was my time, I'm thinking. That's man time.
Yeah.
You can go there anytime, during the day, at night, whatever. I just happen to get most of mine during the day, more activity during the day than I do at night. But the concept of time, that'll blow your tiny mind and take us down so many different rabbit holes. Time itself, and how they communicate. They may ride time and come in. I don't know.
Yeah,
However they do it, they come in, they appear.
It's all part of
And
the big
it,
mystery.
it is. It's
Yeah.
all part of the big mystery. And we would have to have even more sensitive equipment to filter and see any concept of time. There's nothing to measure it really. We
Right.
haven't, we're not that advanced. So it's they use some kind of something natural to come through. Something, it has to be something extremely natural, like static, something magnetic. Maybe I'm not sure. Something very natural, EMF, um, to come through. But as far as pinpointing it, no, it is what it is, and you just have to accept it for
Okay.
what it is.
Ooh, Steph has, okay. She goes, I have a question on what is considered an EVP. Maybe a dumb question, but I need to ask it.
An EVP, to be considered an electronic voice phenomenon, it's going to be a disembodied voice captured onto any recording device, a digital or analog recorder. An EVP is not what comes through a ghost box. That is not EVP. That is ITC. It's plain and simple. Two different animals, same family. They're married, but they do things differently. An EVP, a true EVP, like I said, is a disembodied voice that comes through on a digital recorder or analog recorder, as to where the other is ITC. That's not an EVP. If it's
Right. So
on
yeah, that's
voice
what
or
she's saying. Is an
yes,
EVP
yes,
considered right?
yes, it would be EVP if it was caught on a video camera. That is correct. You can capture EVP on video cameras. Anything, it's on any recording device. A ghost box is not a recording device. It is a device. It is a shack hack. It is a radio hack. It scans different hundreds and hundreds of different frequencies. But what comes out of that, if you hear a voice say, I'm here, that's not an EVP. That's ITC. An EVP is going to be captured on a digital or analog recorder, just like that, Steph.
Okay. Friday says they describe as having no time, but they can watch things here progress properly. Events on the other side also progress, but everything is just felt as
As
now.
now, right? The present.
Right.
That's the closest we have to their time is present time. They're not in the past. I don't think they're in the future. They're in the present. So the present time is the closest we have to their time.
Okay, the girls are they're schooling us on this word. Synesthesi.
The
Okay.
blending of senses,
Yeah.
like, is significantly more common in
Goes.
people.
It's
Sure.
autism. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
I can
Wonderful.
I can see that. And someone that is autistic, absolutely, they would be far more in tune because I think their minds are much more open than what ours would be.
Yeah, they're tapping into something that we don't.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
possible.
Steph says, so it is a disembodied voice. Then if you hear it with your own ears, but if you hear it on an actual video camera.
If you hear it with your own ears, it's not an EVP. It is an ENP, electronic noise phenomenon. Some call it other things. This is old school electronic noise phenomenon when you hear it with the naked ear. Now, if you hear it with the naked ear and you capture it on the recorder, the same thing, yes, that is an EVP as well. So you have the best of both worlds there. You have an EMP and an EVP now because it was heard and captured on the recorder. So it could get tricky. So a disembodied voice, when you hear it with your own ears, is called an electronic noise phenomenon through the ears.
There you
A
go.
voice phenomenon is when it's captured.
Actually, and my mod said put up his link a couple of times, guys, and we'll do it again before the show is over, so that you can go over to his library, and he has courses on there for free that to help learn and teach you what these things are and what you should know, which is wonderful because I didn't get a chance to look at all of them, but I'm definitely going to jump over there and
Oh,
check it
sure.
out. Okay, Friday says if they are outside of time, they are also outside of space. So if they aren't locked into
Maybe.
time, they are also no place in space.
There may be places in space that have no time. We don't know.
See, that's what I'm
We could
saying.
sit here and speculate
Keep
all
going and
night
going.
long.
Yep.
All night long. We simply do not know
Right.
what concept of time they have, if they even use it. There may be places in space that have nothing, absolute nothing, as well, and that's where they come through. We just don't know. We simply don't know. And I used to, oh boy, but I just rack my brain and try to figure this out, folks. We're not going to.
Yeah, I
We're
don't think
not
so.
going
I
to.
don't think so.
I think we just need to concentrate more on the sessions, concentrate more on communication than how it works,
Right.
because we're not going to figure that out. And all we're going to do is complicate it even more. Just do it.
Right.
Maybe one day they'll tell us how it works.
Yeah.
It'll
Maybe.
slip
Well,
out.
maybe they're not allowed to tell us
I
because
don't
that's
think they
something we're
are.
not supposed to know yet.
That's correct. I don't think they are allowed to tell us whatsoever.
Yes, I do remember the video stuff. So yeah, I can understand why you're asking the question. She says, "Thank you. I didn't know if I had it, if it had to be a voice recorder or tape recorder.
Either.
You, either and all of the above.
All the above.
Let's see.
Yeah, there's so much with it. I mean, you can capture them on a Hello Kitty recorder. It doesn't matter, as long as you have something that is halfway decent. I'm not saying go out and buy some piece of junk equipment and try to get the best EVP on it. You're going to have some terrible background noise and so forth. You get what you pay for, folks. But
right.
But know that you don't need much. You know, if you think $30 recorder is too much, so you buy the one at Five Below for $5, and you go out there and you don't get anything. Well, maybe that's because it may not record at all.
Right.
Be careful.
Five Below. That's why. The old saying, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And then Friday says that if you can't hear as good as you used to, then it's called OAP, old ass phenomena.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's the one thing that I have that still works excellent is the hearing. So, oh my God. Hi, Candy. Welcome. Okay. Is an EVP almost like an Estes? Don't they hear voices through the earphones?
Oh, the Estes method is ITC. That is an ITC method. It's a very good method. An Estes method works. You have a receiver and you have an operator, and the operator will ask the questions. The receiver will be away with noise canceling headphones away from the area, giving the answers. So the operator will have a spirit box going, and they'll say, "What is your name?" And then you're going to have the receiver sitting over here concentrating, and they say anything that comes through, but the receiver does not hear what the operator is saying. See, they're just spouting off words. So that's the Estes method and how it works. And that's ITC. That's not EVP.
Now, how do you feel about the Estes method?
I've used it.
The noise drives me insane.
I'm not a fan of ITC. I can't wrap my head around it. It's a completely different audio than what I'm used to. I'm used to EVP audio. I'm not used to a ghost box having the static in the background and so forth all the time. I'm not used to that. There's different ways to approach it. You know, communication's communication, and I will try it. You know, I had a ghost box, and I actually gave that ghost box to somebody that would have more use out of it than I was giving it, because, like you said, it drives me nuts, that noise.
Yes.
Frank. It's just it produces its own kind of pareidolia.
I don't know. It just when somebody's doing it and I listen and then I shut off the sound until they're done, because it's just annoying as all hell.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's frustrating. You know, you want a good valid session. You want it to be as credible as you can. And the problem with these ghost box sessions is half of them aren't recorded. And when they are recorded, they're not analyzed. They're just put up with subtitles on YouTube. Next thing you know, this person's got all kinds of followers because they're saying exactly what it's saying, and they're suggesting it. You can't
Yeah.
do that. You can't do that.
Pam says, I forgot this would be on tonight. I'm amused that I am currently cleaning and under a bunch of pendulums, tarot decks, and other stuff.
Yeah.
Because a bowl of raw crystals fell and landed all over. Ah,
Everything happens for a reason right there.
uh-huh. It's telling you something.
That's a sign.
Here, Jamie says, I have bipolar and sometimes hear things I can't explain. Also, other things happen.
Yes. Jamie, I'm bipolar as well. I mean, I'm out there and I hear some of these weird different things and so forth. It's some of it you can filter, some of it just is. And don't beat yourself up too bad about it, because some of this stuff will slip in. I see myself as a little sensitive when I'm out there, and I do have a tendency to hear some things in my mind, and I try to separate that and take a more scientific approach, and then I take that scientific approach and throw it out the window, because it's an approach. You want a controlled approach as possible, but you're not always going to get that, folks. You're not always going to get that.
Right.
You just be thankful for what you do get out there. If you go about it correctly in the right format, you're going to get results. And you don't have to worry don't let all this equipment, don't let all this space time confuse you and prevent you from doing this, because it's quite simple to do it. It's very simple. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. I mean, I'm going to be doing one here later on. You can do them at any time, anywhere.
Excuse me.
You never know what responses you're going to get. You never know what time they're going to come. You never know how fast, how loud.
Right.
You don't know until you do it. So just get out there and do it.
Now, do you perform EVP sessions in your own home?
Mhm. I do.
You don't find that causes any kind of an issue?
No, not if you close that session properly. You have to set your boundaries with spirit. You have to let them know, hey, I'm here. We can coexist. I'm not here to harm you. I'm not here to send you away. Therefore, they're not going to act up as much if you reassure them. I've learned that over the years. I'm not saying you can go in there and calm down a haunted home like that. You may have to, bring in someone else, bring in some other team to do that. To do some kind of cleansing or something of that nature. Refer it out if you have to. The most important thing's the client right there.
Yeah. Ryan says the most interesting ones are when you all hear the same thing. Me and my sister have experienced disembodied voices. We believe our grandmother, a few weeks after she passed, we heard, Nikki, I'm upstairs.
Yeah. And a lot of times that's when they come through is when they first pass. A lot of people report seeing and they're witnessing a family will be in the living room after, let's say, a grandmother passes, and all of a sudden an apparition appears in a chair and all three of them see it. So it's collective. And that's just grandma saying, hey, goodbye, nothing more, nothing less.
Right. Stephanie wants to know, Todd, do you think meditation could help bring spirit closer and maybe help with getting results? Have you ever tried that?
Yes, and yes. Meditation, intention will yield much, much, much better results, because you're going in calm, as open-minded as possible, as you possibly can. You're going in nice and calm to this situation. You are meditating into a state where there's no vulnerabilities. You're protected. However you want to wrap yourself, you wrap yourself. You go into this situation using that meditation, and then you ground yourself prior to going in there. Set your intention, and the rest is going to be unmatchable to what you capture. Your results are just going to be a lot better. And I've tried this. I've done EVP sessions in a bad mood. We all have. And usually you get nothing in return. It's almost as if spirit knows, so it's just not going to mess with you.
Right.
It's just not going to say anything.
Hey, Mark, welcome. let's see.
Yeah,
Mark
there's
says,
just
"Hey everyone,
so much involved with it. But don't overthink it. That's what's important. Don't overthink it.
all right." See, Mark says, "I can't say I go into places all nice as I'm looking for it to act up." Yes, Mark does every now and then provoke.
Yeah. See, and some do. To each their own. I don't do it. I don't provoke. I've seen too much of what they can do. The Sally House, for example, horrible, horrible place. I wouldn't recommend anyone going there ever, but they do. It's a pay to play now. That place is a haunting. You go in there and you provoke, you're going to get your ass kicked. Um, Tony would get cut anytime he'd walk in there. The cuts, 2-inch cut for crying out loud. These 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 entities when they're upset and they're malevolent and you provoke them, they're going to come at you. So be careful. Be very careful. Be careful what you wish for. You may
Exactly.
just get it. Just be careful.
But unfortunately, some people that's what they're looking for.
Yep,
They're
that's
looking
what
for
they're
that
looking for.
physical proof.
Hmm. They
And some,
want they, when you provoke, it does upset them enough to where they do manifest and do other things. They will throw things. They will, so just be careful. If you're going to do it, be careful.
right. Oh, let's see. Guys, any more questions? Shoot them out there.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's see. Do you think some people bring chaos or bad spirits, something nasty with them? It's from Pam.
oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have attachments, all kinds. Let's say, you're a big paranormal enthusiast, and all you do is go to pay to plays. You bounce from Waverly over there to Villisca, over there to Sally House. You're going to bring attachments with you if you're not cleared out. If you don't close properly, if you don't leave that investigation properly, these lurkers, they're just going to attach to you like glue. And you're going to take them home. You're going to take them wherever, and they're going to bounce around your house, do whatever. Be careful. Just be careful. Use common sense. Open and close your sessions. Set your boundaries. Let them know that they are not welcome to come, that their place is here. They need to stay here.
Yes.
They're not welcome to come with you.
Yes.
That'll prevent a lot right there in itself.
Ryan says, I've had some good reactions while reading the history and telling the story of a weird and in areas talking about what may have had happened can provoke a response.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially if it's a pretty, bad history. You know what I mean? As far as the outcome of a certain individual's, yeah, I think that
Traumatic.
it's traumatic. It's upsetting for them.
Yeah, and that can play a big part. That can really leak the energy out on the area, and that tragedy becomes residual. For example, a funeral. You're not going to pick up per se the body going into the ground, the man going, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm not ready yet." You're not going to pick that up on your recorder. What you may pick up is the grieving widow standing over his grave and just hysterically crying. That may imprint the area and leave a residue for you to record later. Who knows? Who
Right.
knows? That's where the sobbing came from. You just have to try and put two and two together.
All right. Sage says, I don't like confrontational investigating. They are not going to like someone in their face any more than we do.
That's correct.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's
Yeah.
just there's no reason to be, an asshole. That's just the
No.
bottom line. You don't
No.
have to be an asshole.
You don't. You really don't. You're going to get more with honey than you do
Yeah.
vinegar any day. And I've tried it all, folks. I promise you. I've gone out there and provoked. I've thrown things. I have increased the tension in environments voluntarily to provoke response, and it does not work. I have found the more responses that I get are from simply asking questions or just letting it be. And if you do that, that's what's going to open up your results. You don't have to go out there and I demand you to speak to me.
Right.
Well, you're not going to demand me to do anything.
Right.
When I die, if I get demanded, I'm going to come through and kick your ass.
Yeah, right.
That's what's going to happen.
I'm going to give you something to demand. Yeah, Mark says, I'm mad enough, which he is. Mark's mad enough to allow himself to be in danger for the sake of a great episode. I've been pushed and had things lobbed at me, and I lob it back. Yeah, and I've seen it. He does.
And that's that, to each their own, Mark.
But Mark has also gone in and very kind and gentle in the space. But
Sure.
I mean, after a while, yeah, you try to let's stir it up a little bit. I get it. Because you are filming, so you try to spill it, get it going. Thank you, Sage, very much. I appreciate it. Boy, my tongue's kicking out on me here. Thank you very much, sweetie. I appreciate it. She wants to know, what was your most interesting interaction?
Most interesting interaction was the one that I least expected. And I have it on my website, evpexplorations.com. It's under evidence. And it's an EVP that simply says hello. That's all it says. It wasn't asked anything. There were no questions. It was a stationary method. And it was captured on an old bridge in Vincennes, Indiana. And it came out of nowhere. It just says hello. And there was no question asked. Now, as far as an interaction, the only one I could say would be the collective apparition that we did see at the Sally house of the little girl. The three of us did. That was probably the biggest experience I came across. It was there for just a few seconds and, of course, dissipates. But we all had the same thought, to leave. We had to leave immediately. We had to leave. We had to exit. We had to go. So we did.
Didn't have a good feeling. Yeah, always trust your gut.
Right.
Always number one. Let's see here. Pam says, "Oop, wrong one. Sorry." Okay, she says, "My space is quiet now, but I have had house guests that seem to bring things that seem to work." Oh my God. The thing jumps and I'm reading it. Oh my God, I hate it. But I have a house guest that seems to bring things with them. The worst is no longer welcome for their own actions.
So there's a spirit there that is bringing other spirits with them. Yeah, it may be a portal or something inside, and they're coming through. I feel that's possible. There's vortexes as well in these locations. Normally, those are located in the northeast corners of basements and so forth. The difference is portal's a window, a doorway, as to where a vortex is more like an airport or a bus station, where they come and go as they please, and they may be bringing others along with them that way. That's the only way I would know.
All right. Mark says, depends where it is. I went to a place a serial killer worked, and I was not being all pleasant. And thank you for a person like that, and nor would I be a real living person. Is that where you went tonight, Mark? Where the serial killer, when supposedly the grounds is where he buried the victims, but they were never found. So. And see, and Mark does it the right way. It's nice because he'll go back several times to these places, and which we all should do.
Yes,
and to collect his data.
That is how you develop relationships.
Yeah,
and I feel you do develop relationships with these spirits in there. The more you go back, the more your results increase. They get to know you. They know your intentions. I feel that plays a big factor in it.
Right. No. Pam said no. It's not. It's a person.
Oh,
so you had a person that every time come to your house, they were bringing something with them, so they had an attachment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They need a cleansing.
I need something. Wow. Actually, and it's why a question about using dowsing rods is because we had a local team here. The woman was in it for years. And her son became of age and asked one time that he could go with them on an investigation. And they went to a cemetery. And she was big into using the dowsing rods.
Mm-hmm.
And she let her son use them. And apparently they ended up leaving early because he ended up getting ill. And apparently using the dowsing rods, I don't know if they taught him what to do or how to do it. It wasn't in the story. But he brought something home with him from the cemetery that was horrible. And it took them a long time to get rid of this thing. And she no longer does any paranormal investigating because it disturbed her so much that she just won't do it again.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
So that's why I questioned, I don't know about the dowsing rod thing. It's
I like them. I think they're fun little tools. You know, they have their ways, they have their pros and cons, like everything else. I guess. I mean, it's a good communication tool to start.
Right.
It breaks the ice. Definitely a good icebreaker.
And there are a few here, like the people that have them. I know Susan uh, from Central Mass Paranormal. You were on her show. She's used them.
Yep.
And Steph, who asked the questions there, I know she has a pair. So I think it's an interesting thing to experiment with and to check it out. So
Sure, it's to each their own.
yeah,
You know, it really is with these tools. Ouija boards the same way. If you were raised to be, you know, part of that stereotype and think that they're all for demons, don't touch them. Don't touch them by all means, because that'll be your intention if you do. So don't touch it.
now, what are your feelings about people in the field that say that all of this stuff is bullshit and why are you using it?
I was one of those people.
Oop, a band aid.
I was one of those people. Continue to use it. It's not crap. I mean, trust me, it comes off as that sometimes. And when people fake their evidence or their integrity is crap, the craft itself is solid. The craft itself, EVP, that work is solid. And it is there are far too many documented recordings to say otherwise. Sure, there's a lot of fakery out there, but if you use common sense, you can sift right through it just with common sense alone. Be careful. Be careful what you capture. Be careful what you put out there. Use that integrity. That's what we have. That's all we have is our honesty. You know, you don't want to throw out junk and say, "Okay, this is the best I've got," and then you throw it. What? You know, you be careful what you share because that's going to set everything else in motion for someone else to share. And if they see your bad experience, then they're not going to share. So do it wisely, but share it with somebody you trust. You know, and just be careful. Be
Right.
careful and use common sense.
Now, another question is when you do collect your data, on all of your recordings, how do you analyze this data? How do you go through it? What kind of devices or equipment do you use to?
What I use a program called Adobe Audition, and I'll upload it to the computer, and I will send the raw file. Okay, I don't send it through USB. I will send the raw file, and I will sit there and listen to the entire recording on a digital recorder through Audition and watch it as I'm listening and marking and marking and marking and marking. Now, when you're processing and analyzing a file, that doesn't mean you're going in there to apply filters. I'm not going in there making turning a class C into a class A. I'm in there seeing if there's any vocal patterns that match. Does my bass line match the rest of the background? You know, these are all the factors that I'm doing. So the equipment, the software tells you those things. It's not if anything, all you want to do to the file is amplify it. That's it. Just
Right.
amplify it. You don't want to go in there and do a bunch of noise reductions. It's going to sound like it's in a tin can. It's going to be terrible. It's going to ruin it. You're going to take away the integrity of the EVP. Less is more. So throw it in there, amplify it a little bit, let it go. That's what it is. You can't turn something, you can't make a class C into a class A. It has to be captured that way. It has to be in order to be deemed that. And people are going to trust you if you share that this is a class A I captured. They're going to trust your integrity. So and they're going to check it too. They're going to check it too. I would check
Sure.
it. I check them all because there's so much fakery out there.
Oh yeah, way too much. Good night, Ryan. Thanks for joining us. Um, Now, what I want you to do is actually explain to all of us the classification of EVPs.
Oh, the classification system that was developed by Sarah back in the day. The ABC system. She was a school teacher, so ABCs. It's very simple. A class A is one that is recognizable without it being suggested. For example, a hello. Anybody that hears it mistakenly hears hello. So therefore, it's a class A. A class B, they may say hello. My name is. Oh, no, that would be a B. You can understand the portion of it, but you can't make out the rest. So you would classify that as a B or some kind of unmistakable, unrecognizable voice, unrecognizable message. A class C is going to be your whispers, your low end whispers and so forth. You'll get a lot of those, a lot of class C's. Those are the most common, are your whispers. And sure, Friday, absolutely. He uses a noise reducer in there. You can
Yep.
capture the noise floor in there and do what you want. But me, sir, I feel less is more, and I'm not going to take away any kind of signal on there. I'm going to get to add to it with amplification. That's all I use. I've used other filters in there for personal use, absolutely, for personal use. Anything I'm sharing or putting up is going to be just amplified only. I'm not going to apply any filters to it.
Right. Yeah, because actually at one time, one of the last EVPs I had, I sent and had Fryan, oh my God, Friday House, analyze it. Because when you listen to it, it sounds actually like whoever is responding, actually the name was Joshua,
Hmm.
was underwater. That's what it sounded like. He was speaking from underwater. It was the strangest thing. So I don't know if the person had
Well,
drowned.
that's possible. It could just be the way. See, if we're speaking to a spirit, I try to look at it this way. They may be several dimensions back and they're yelling. They're back there, hey, my name's Frank, but we can't hear it
Right.
because it's so far away. And the reason and I've captured some that sound underwater, like you were saying, and that could be a dimensional thing as well. That could be where
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
coming in, how they tune in, how they do their thing. Uh, and it can be frustrating. It can be very confusing.
And I also think it's two different people speaking on the same recording because the first one is repeating my name and it sounds like it's underwater. And then it says the name Joshua, which happened to be, I was standing next to a headstone that
Hmm.
had the name Joshua on it.
Hmm.
But then after that, further down, you hear somebody's watching you. And it was a totally different sound.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's interesting. That's interesting on how all that folds out. You never know what to expect with these recordings. So
Right.
here you are, you're listening for intelligent answers, intelligent responses to your questions, and you don't get anything like that at all. You get something captured like what you have, which could be residual. Very well could be
Could
residual.
be.
It
Yeah,
could be
because
a
I
lot
haven't
of
had a
different things.
chance to go back to the same section. It was in the old section. I want to go there and just sit
Hmm.
and just let it run and see if I could pick up either the same responses. And actually, before then, the reason I went back to that area is because when I was taking photographs, it was a perfect day. Cool, no breeze, no sunshine glare. And as I was taking a photograph of a deer in that area, because there's a lot of deer, there's a herd of deer up there.
Hmm.
Um, you see a cloud like over one of the stones. And it was just in that one section.
Interesting.
And so I'm thinking maybe that's who was there at that. I didn't do any EVPs at that time because I was photographing the deer. But that's what made me go back because when I seen the photograph, I'm like, oh, why is that there? There was no factors that would make that show up on the photograph.
Yeah,
So I had to go back and do a session to see what I come up with.
absolutely. And that's what you want to do.
Yeah,
Is you want to try and figure that out. That's the whole plan of
that's the
this.
whole
Is
plan.
getting
Hey,
in there and dissecting this, breaking it down the best we
right.
can, so we figure out what it is we're
What the heck
capturing
is going
and what
on?
to do with it.
Hey, Jimmy, welcome, welcome. Fawn has a question. What are your thoughts on Vortex?
Vortexes, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, they're bus stations, airports, if you will. They it's like a revolving door for spirit activity, and vortexes and portals. They're in these haunted locations. I feel that that's how spirit travels back and forth, by using elements such as those to come back and forth. Absolutely.
Okay, Mark says, well, anything past, I think, 5 dimensions. Nothing can really be there as it would break down. So
Yeah,
according to physics, no living dimensional
I
being
don't
could even exist there.
I don't buy into physics when it comes to this, not at all. I don't buy into any science when it comes to this. Science complicates it, and I don't understand enough about the elements to know how they actually work. We don't know enough about the simple elements, fire, water. We don't know enough about those. You know, these things we think we know, we want to know. Everybody wants to know, but we're never going to freaking know how this works. We cannot. We just can't. It's got to be a golden rule locked down tight somewhere,
That's what I'm
or
thinking
we
too.
would have known by now. As much of as we've captured by now, we would have known something if that was possible.
If
I
it was
think.
allowed, yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Because like you hear that from a lot of people. Maybe it's a law. They're just not
Mhm.
allowed because that's something that we are supposed to find out after we pass on.
Yes, absolutely. It's all man made up to that
It's
point. Everything is man made up to death. Up to death, they don't know anything. They're practicing. Doctors are practicing.
yep.
Okay. They're not experts. There are no experts in this field whatsoever. Whoever says they're an expert, run from them quickly. There are no experts in this field. There are only people that specialize in certain things, that have experienced a few things, but you have to draw that line. You have to draw that. That's a fine line. If not, it can drive you crazy. It can literally, this field will drive you insane
Oh yeah.
because you there's no absolutes, folks. Don't get too caught up in the science of it. All that's going to do is take you down so many different rabbit holes. Just accept it for what it is, get the results, and you're good. You don't
Right.
have to worry about the science is interesting, sure, but it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. The science does not add up with what we do. I
Yes, Sage, the
apologize for that.
wallpaper, the what that kind of looks like the cemetery that I go to, but it's we just don't have those groovy characters walking around that I can
Right.
see. Let's see. Friday said the string theory says that we have up to 23 dimensions.
Mhm.
The problem with paranormal and science is we have to make a ton of assumptions and have no way to fully test them.
That is correct, sir.
Yes,
And what
yes.
happens when you assume?
Say
We
it
all know that golden
together.
rule. We
Makes
all
an
know
ass
that.
out of you and me.
Yep, we all know that one.
So, but that's what it is. It's all assumption. It's all, just theory because we have no definite documented proof.
No, not a
We
peep.
have individual because I know a lot of people say that, well, they're professionals or this. I think we're professionals in our own experiences.
Mhm.
But as far as the field itself, like you could be a professional photographer, you could be a professional in electronics, you could be a professional in, the EVPs,
Yep.
and sound and audio and all of that. But as far as the the paranormal as a whole, we're just students.
Yeah, exactly. Always. We are always the student. Every single time we are the student. They are the master.
Yep.
They
And we
are
are
the
just
master.
we are experts in our own experiences.
Mhm.
That's all we can really
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. You said that very well.
Let's see. I like to look at century old documentation. Yes, there were frauds even then, but they were more open to investigating.
Yeah. Yeah, there's always been frauds. You've had frauds ever since the old seances with the
Yeah.
ectoplasm. I mean,
Yeah.
you've had fraudulent activity since the dawn of this. But it's the integrity that matters. Your integrity. And it starts with one person, and that stuff spreads like wildfire. It really does. And next thing you know, the next person's honest, then this person's honest.
Yeah.
It all comes down to that. There's going to be frauds. It's going to be a matter of how you sift through them,
They
how you
just get
sift through all the
better.
bull.
They get
Yeah,
better with time.
yeah. It's terrible. It's scary, terrible. They're
And
using
then it's
AI.
like, like with the AI stuff. Now that's what my concern is with, the people who are doing the entertainment paranormal
Yeah,
channels. Is it going to be harder to debunk what they are putting out there?
absolutely. Absolutely, it is, because they're using technologies like AI to process their evidence. They are literally dragging and dropping EVP files in AI chat GPTs and saying, hey, what does this say? To each their own. If
Sick.
you want to do that, by more power to you, drop it into the search engine called chat GPT and see what it comes up with. But be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for.
Because you might not like it. And it's scary because everything, all of this stuff is where people don't have to think anymore.
Mm-hmm.
People don't have to perform anymore. They're
Yes.
just letting this take over the work of, the human brain and the human talent. And I don't think it's a good thing. I really
No.
don't.
No. No. And Friday's mentioning the Fox sisters here. I actually wrote about them in my first book a little bit. Yeah, the spiritual movement. That's there's been fraud. Oh my goodness. There's so much of it. There's very few out there that very few evidence that we have to go by from the past because we don't know. We weren't there. We weren't there when these people recorded this. We're going by excuse me, their integrity to say I was here and it said this. Okay, we're going to trust you on that. Or we're not going to trust you on that because it doesn't say that, it may say this.
Right.
So you're always going to get that. And the problem with this field is we're not going to be in agreement. There's too many people that disagree. Too many people have opinions, which are phenomenal in this field, but too many people don't know how to use those opinions when it comes to seeing someone else's data that they've shared. They may go in there and just completely cut them to the bone, get that keyboard courage, cut them to the bone.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, that person's never going to share a thing again.
Yep.
Don't do that.
Yep.
If you see that and you know for sure that is dust, that is not an orb, please tell them. Tell them, hey, in my experience, I've been doing this a long time. That appears to be dust because of the square pixels. Help them, guide them. Don't sit there and, oh, that's dust. And just leave.
Right. No, yeah, I've done it for a few people. Say, well, no, they actually looks like dust to me.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell just by the movement of it. The way it's trailing across, and the camera, draws that in.
Sure.
The dust in, and then it's, like you said, the pixels, the shape, all of it. So it's, there's ways that you could pick out what is what.
Yeah.
And as I know, it's disappointing because we all want to say, oh, I caught
Of course.
this. And you feel for them because, they're excited and you have to be pretty much, like the dream crusher. So it's
you work for hours.
I'm sorry.
I was there for hours. I'm sorry.
We've all been through it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Mark says, and let's get into time being a dimension. So if a spirit is in a different dimension, it don't need to comply with time. So the future dead could move back and forward in time.
And they do. They do, I believe. I believe a spirit is complete, utter, full energy. It can be multiple places at multiple different times because there's no concept of that. Time is man-made. The word time is man-made. Spirit knows no time that we know of. That's why things are so random. There's no time. And we talk about this too, that the whole concept of time. We just had a discussion on the Explorers Network on the website. It's like a social media area in there. And we were talking about the concept of time and giving them 30-second responses in between questions. Does that really matter? To me, yes. You're giving them time to build energy. Do they have a concept of time? We don't know for sure, folks. We don't know. They may all have watches on. I don't know. But it is what it is. Don't wrap yourself up too much in string theories and science when it comes to this, because it's something so natural, folks. Science isn't going to prove this. It just isn't. It doesn't want to. It doesn't want to. I don't think anything's going to prove this. It's fun to try. It really is, but there's no absolutes.
Right.
And we just have to accept what we get as data and go with it. That's all we have is what we capture.
So yeah, Sage says one of the things I like about the older articles is they were curious and open to new ideas and lines of investigating it. Uh, yeah, because they weren't really picked apart like they are now.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're
Uh,
totally scrutinized.
but this, I do agree that yes, we do need to pick things apart because I mean you're not going to believe everything that you're being told. I mean,
No,
so I get it.
no.
Um, let's see here. Oh
Yeah.
no,
Man.
Stage broke her mug. Oh no. A moment of silence, guys,
Uh, may it rest in pieces.
for the raw side mug that hit the floor. Let's see. Time as we know it is part of the fabric of space. In order to move through time, you need a way to get at the right angle.
That we know.
Yeah, in
That we
theory,
know of.
the fifth dimensional space.
Again, Friday. That we know of.
Yeah.
That we know of. We have no freaking clue what the hell is out there in space. Not a freaking clue. The Hubble telescope, oh, it's going to find a planet here and there. It's going to see. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you what's out there because we can't handle it. We are far too immature to handle that kind of truth. Therefore, we will never know it unless it comes here and shows itself
Right.
on its own.
Right.
And that's why I don't get wrapped up in time space continuums. I don't get wrapped up in physics. I'm not going to waste my brain cells on it because it's something that is developed by man, which is extremely flawed. So I don't trust it.
I'm waiting for the days of Star Trek when we can travel through time,
Yeah.
and then then I'm on board.
Yeah, that's a little different. That's a little different. But that's how these advances are going to take place in science. They're going to come up with some equipment that's going to do something, and they may already have it. They may already have a way to stop or slow down time. Who knows?
Right? Well, there's a lot.
They're
Yeah,
not going to tell us about it.
no, we're always the last to find
Yeah.
out. Yeah, spatial dimensions are here with us now.
Yep. That we know of.
Yep.
That we know of.
You were taking a phone call, Steph? How rude. Ugh.
I don't trust I don't trust man. I don't trust man enough to tell me that this is how this works. I don't. Because I've seen man screw up time and time and time and time and time and time again. So
Yeah, it's scary.
and we're not any closer now than we have been. And we've got the ultimate technology now, and we're not any closer. So that tells me it has nothing to do with man. Not a damn thing. This has to do with spirit. This has to do with something outside of this universe coming here. You know, I just
Well,
don't
just
follow
like,
all the
with
theories. I don't do 'em.
UFOs and stuff, like, I always say that, yeah, they come by and they
Mhm.
stop and they look and they go, "Nope, still stupid," and they go on
Yeah.
their way.
Yeah, we're a very immature planet. We haven't been
Yes.
around that long.
Right. So we're not ready for it yet.
No,
Because you know how it is. I could see it now. They land, and what's the first thing man does when they're afraid?
shoot.
There you go.
Yeah,
So
they're
how
going to
you
get a
gonna anything
shotgun.
out of a dead alien unless you're gonna use it as a science project instead of,
Bingo.
yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
So yeah, it's terrible.
We're too immature of a race to handle the truth. In all honesty, and that's okay, because I think it would shock the hell out of all of us.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, let's see. What I don't understand is how people can say that won't work when we don't know what the spirit even consists of.
Bingo. We have no clue.
Yep.
We have no clue. So without knowing that, without knowing the source of this quote unquote mass or spirit,
Yeah.
what it's made of, we don't know.
Right.
And we just have to accept that we don't know and just continue collecting data until we do.
Right.
Don't trust man, trust spirit to bring that forth. Don't trust man in this. Don't make that mistake.
Well, that's what I always say. It also has to do with your spiritual beliefs.
Mhm.
I believe that when we, pass on, we are changed into pure energy.
Mhm.
So I think that's what everybody is geared towards. We all think spirit is pure energy. So that's why they're trying to come up with these gadgets that are going to pick up some kind of
Yeah.
electrical trace,
Yeah. And I don't
something.
think there is a trace.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's we just don't know what it is. That's part of the dilemma.
Yeah. We don't know what it is to gauge it.
Right, right. So that's the problem. Let's see here. Do
Oh,
you
my
feel
goodness.
dark energy and matter has something outside the norm, which is why we can't see it other than its effects?
Dark energy. Are you referring to like shadow people? Because I think they're a totally different system than anything like malevolent dark. Shadow people, for example, darker than dark. I think it takes less energy for them to manifest themselves in darkness than it does in light. So that's why they're going to appear darker than dark. A lot of these shadow beings, they're not necessarily mean, malevolent, or demonic. That's just the only form of energy they can manifest is in the darkness. Uh, because you can see them during the day as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Um,
that's
I hate to do this. How long is this show, hon?
well, we're gonna
Okay.
cut you loose right now.
Go to work.
I know that terrible 4-letter word. Yeah, usually we let it run about 2 hours. We're at the 2-hour mark, guys. You have put out some great questions,
Oh, it's
and
amazing.
it's
Great audience.
I have a great group of people that
Oh,
show up here,
they're phenomenal.
and they would keep you going all night if you let
Yeah,
them. So,
it's phenomenal.
guys, please check out his channel, his chat, his classes. The stuff is free. Get in there, get yourself a little education, because the world of EVP is out there, and I think it needs to be brought more out into the forefront because so many people are picking up things. It's out there. We just need to put a little more effort into it. Please tell us what's going on with you and your channel in the future.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I've you can find me, contact me at evpexplorations.com. That's the website. It's got the free courses, the articles, it's got the community for you folks. It's all free of charge there. And you can find me on YouTube at EVP Explorations. You can just search that. I'm not on Facebook any longer. Long story. Oh, jeez, what a mess.
That's why we had a problem at the
Mm.
beginning here.
Can't get on there, folks. I have to change my number coming soon. But I'll get back on there and I'll reconnect with you,
Yeah.
Laura. But it's kind of a pain right now. But you can the best way to contact me through the website. I respond almost immediately. Email, you can email me through there however you like. There's instant messages there too. You can message me on the website. Uh, but the show's every Thursday night at 8 p.m. and you can watch it on the website or YouTube and or Twitch. And there's uh this week we've got Chris DeCesare coming on from that Netflix True Haunting. He's going to talk about his college haunting way back in the day.
Fantastic.
And
That's on
that is
tomorrow, right?
yeah, tomorrow
Yes.
night at 8. It's going to be amazing. This haunting is one for the books. It's terrifying what happened to this
Wow.
poor man. He's a survivor. We're going to talk to him and then kind of correlate on how the communication aspect could be in a haunting such as that. So and I've got my 2 books as well, the Haunted Voice series. You can find those at Amazon or Barnes and Noble. Just search The Haunted Voice, Todd Bates, and you'll find both those books there. They contain some things about my story and some paranormal. Like I was telling Friday there's a little part in there in the first book about the Fox sisters with the spiritual movement. So there's a lot to a lot of information out there in those
Wonderful.
books. So grab those and just come talk to me if you have any questions or anything, need any help. My goodness,
That's
I'm here
all.
to help. I'm here to
You never
serve,
know, and then
folks.
he might just bring you on the show. Why not?
Yes, you never know.
You never know. That's the way it is here. You never know what's going to come up or what's going to be put out. So, thank you very much, Todd, for joining us. We
My
really
pleasure.
appreciate it. Thank you, my Maz, for getting all of his information out there. You gals are the best. And until next time, guys, remember always live life a little bit on the raw side. Until we see you again, have a great one.